Welcome to the Hot Planet Repair Team meeting for Thursday, August 11th. There's no formal presentation today, just some updates and open discussion.
We've had a bunch of progress on a number of fronts. I think a lot of philanthropies out there, charitable organizations, have been a bit tired of some of their donations going towards activism and not towards actionism of actually doing the work necessary. We know what the problems are. It's broadly known. It's just now, what are the organizations that are going to start cleaning up the mess? We jokingly called ourselves Janitors Without Borders. I feel that there's a lot of work for us to do. And we had multiple conversations on who are the people that are going to be wanting to lead that charge in the philanthropic world and not just build buildings with their names on them. Alan, now that you're in the room, do you want to share any highlights that have happened recently?
Did you go through what we're doing with Puro Earth?
I haven't gone through that yet. We're about to be added on to the Puro Earth listing of pre-CORCs. CORC is a carbon dioxide removal credit. Puro Earth is basically a platform or an exchange and almost a bit of a registry in that as well. But everything's kind of third-party verified that goes through there. They're majority owned by NASDAQ. The organizations that purchase credits through there, they think they're targeting about 250,000 tons a year of carbon credits being purchased through their platform. Our demonstration facility would be about 16,000 tons of carbon capture a year. We're looking at doing a multiple year sale of our future carbon credit production, as well as the sale and offtake of those raw materials, biochar, activated carbon. It really depends how much post-processing and refinement of that biochar needs to be done for the offtakers. It's also a profitability standpoint, profit margins. But in any case, Puro Earth will be adding Hot Planet Repair Team to the list of CORCs to be funded. The organizations that are purchasing through there, Meta, Alphabet, Shopify, Stripe, Wood Mackenzie, and Zurich Reinsurance, among others. These are large organizations. They want durable carbon capture. That's often very difficult in nature-based solutions because it takes up a lot of space, monocropping and all of those things, but also wood chip waste and all the biomass waste streams are being used typically for the waste streams. And they're paying significantly for those biomass waste streams. The carbon credits through CORCs go from about $120 to over $200 per ton. And that's a significantly larger carbon credit than some of the other nature-based solutions that are ranging from a few bucks to maybe $50, $60, $70. It's quite a difference from the standpoint of pricing, which reflects the durability of the carbon capture. Once we get through the pre-CORCs, then we can start really developing actually the CORCs too, which are more active, not pre-selling future carbon, but actively selling current production. But this is a great way to help get pre-funding. And it also helps with the USDA grant because that's a reimbursement grant.
Yeah, so we haven't gotten a status on the grant yet, which is a $40 million ask to the USDA. I'm expecting, Tyler, what do you think? We'll hear something in the next month, probably by September.
Yeah, I think so. Jeremy, what do you think?
Fingers crossed for my heart rate mid-September. The radio silence is killing me. It's hard to plan for next year without that. Mm-hmm. We were told that, but we were also told that there was going to be a short list. So I don't know if they're dragging their feet or they're so overwhelmed that it's taking a while. But fingers crossed. Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you. One of the things I do want to start preparing for is any members and volunteers that want to be part of the technical team, just drop me an email or drop me a message in Telegram because we're going to start gearing up. And I'd like to educate everybody on all of the technologies that we're bringing in. There's vertical farming technologies and biology, material handling, some advanced material processing using the microwave stuff. There's also some energy generation and controls around all this. It's a fully integrated system that's extremely multidisciplined. Anybody who wants to get involved in that and wants to learn about it, just drop me a message. I'm going to start building that team in anticipation that we're going to either get funded through pre-CORCs or USDA or both or through donors. It's well on its way. So we need to start thinking about putting the technical team together.
That's great. Yeah. And then on the donor side, working on a conversation with the Ritz-Carlton later today for an event here, a bi-monthly event in Naples starting in late September. So we're working through that process of a series of events where we can target some of the philanthropic community here in Naples, Florida. per capita, there's more millionaires here than anywhere in the United States. So it's a nice place to have a home, but it's a nice place to put events together for the philanthropic community on actually a demonstration, education, planning center here that can be deployed and licensed globally. It'll be a really exciting transformation for people that have been looking to put their philanthropic money to work.
Awesome. Very exciting.
One of the other things we're working on is I'm setting up a series of meetup groups so that individuals can start building their own meetup groups about Hot Planet Repair Team in their local areas. So working with the meetup guys right now and figuring out how that can be pushed around all over the planet.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Looking forward to it. Beautiful.
What else do we have, Tyler?
I don't know if we had anything else on the agenda for today. I just wanted to make sure I welcomed and introduced Jonathan Thomas to the team. We have some other people that have joined today from other places. Paul, if you'd like to say hello.
Sure. I'm over here in Massachusetts, Long Meadow, Mass, not far from Steve Travis, actually, who invited me and filled me in on this group. I want to learn a lot about what you guys are doing, and I may have some opportunities for the group or Tyler for you and such, as Travis told me. So I do a couple of things. I have a payroll company over here in Massachusetts, Connecticut, most of the time, and the rest of the time I get involved in deals, a lot of green issues, and companies that are looking to raise money for the green initiative or for medical waste, things like this. And that's kind of what I'm trying to learn about the group a little bit here. So under Steve's advice, I'm trying to join the group. It's my first visit.
Welcome. Thanks, Paul.
Welcome, Paul. Welcome.
Welcome, Paul.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Steve.
Tyler and Rich, you want to talk about some of the working groups people can get involved with? I know we have 4 or 5 different teams working on stuff behind the scenes, and you might want to see if anybody wants to be involved with those.
One of the big ones right now is working on our grant applications. We have one we're working on that's due at the end of the month, the USDA NEFA grant, just getting those little details filled in so we can get it out the door and have the experts take a look at it before we submit it. The website needs a bit of work. We've done a pretty good job, but we have to update it again. And we'd like to pull in some of this community information, the community teams that we're working with, like you had mentioned, and also our partners. Our partners aren't listed on there yet. That's another thing we need to focus on, which leads into the connectory that I know, Alan, you've worked on a little bit with XO. There's just a lot of little things that add up that right now, until we get the funding going, we're just all volunteers and we're kind of spread thin a little bit, but so we're just focusing on fundraising primarily. Anybody else, Tyler?
No, that sounds about right. I think, we all kind of aligned here, and we all have businesses that deal with planet repair to some capacity, and we're all kind of aligning here to help move the needle collectively. So as our membership grows, and we get new members that are signing up weekly, and some of them are phenomenally influential in the sustainability space, and they're around the world. It's really exciting to have these type of people that are deploying planet repairing solutions globally, and that we can be the kind of the bridge to help that connection along, to help them scale. And at least from a conceptual standpoint, to allow the philanthropic community to really see and be able to fund something concrete in our demonstration and planning center. The philanthropic community loves to come together and build buildings. So why not Hot Planet Repair Team and an example of planet repair? We could start incorporating a lot of the solutions that everyone else has around, but also build out that connectory and allow people to actually track their performance and their impact and what they're actually doing. That leads into the teams, the leagues, where people really compete and almost gamify the impact that we're doing. I've been seeing that if climate change is the worst or most challenging thing that humanity's ever faced, then planet repair is going to be the biggest industry that we've ever created, because the size of the solution has to be the size of the problem. If we start realizing that this is just the beginning of the biggest industry mankind's ever created, then we're creating that foundation and that bridge and that connection point for all the data and all the impact that entails. Hey, Marco, I see you coming on video. Welcome.
Hi, can I ask a random question? I don't mean to change the subject.
Yeah, go right ahead.
I was wondering if it would be useful in any way for me to try and increase communication between Hot Planet Repair Team and the Bureau of Land Management, maybe like a management area like Southern California, San Bernardino area. Just a random thought, because I recently had an exchange with a senior person there. Just wondering if that's useful at all.
It's certainly useful. Our demonstration facility is obviously just on the demonstration and planning center for the biomass creation is the equivalent of 60 acres in a 1 acre footprint. Imagine on a commercial basis, 25,000 acres in a 5 acre footprint.
Right.
That's some serious land management efficiency. So yeah, certainly, Marco. And you can pull me in on any kind of carbon copy feed if you want to include me in on some conversations and meetings and whatnot. So
yeah, I'd love to for sure.
Yeah, thank you, Marco. Ryan, McHenry, Timothy, where are you coming in from so everyone can know where it's probably a little late where you are, but if you're live, come on in and say hello.
Hello, guys. My name is Ryan McHenry Timothy. I'm coming in from Zimbabwe. That's where I'm from, and Tyler is actually right. It's around 5:24 right now, so it's getting into evening.
Yeah.
Pleasure to meet the meeting today.
Welcome.
Thanks, Ryan. Awesome. And we had a new member join out of Australia earlier this week who won the preliminary X Prize for carbon capture for blue carbon. He's doing some exciting things actually in the Philippines and in India. He'll be participating and I'll be networking with him and doing kind of monthly recaps with him on some private calls. I wanted to bring him into the group to help from the connectory standpoint because what they're doing is pretty impactful.
Anybody that has any projects that you want promoted or you want us to help on or try to help figure out whatever the requirements, things that are blocking you, let's bring them to the group and let's get them on the website. Let's get them into our social media. Let's start promoting everybody's projects. Everybody's working on something, at least everybody I know is. I think we need to be a service team to all these projects. And once we start doing that, we end up aggregating all their information. We can end up really starting to focus the connectory, the playbooks, and then the Hot Planet Repair Leagues really start kicking in when we can actually really help these activities.
Yeah. And one of the things that is easy to do from an amplification standpoint is the Telegram feed. And I mentioned this before, but if you're crafting any kind of message of something that needs attention or that you think is important to this transition, whether it be your project, a friend's, there's authors, there's all kinds of islands of impact out there. I'm just trying to bridge it and amplify it. If you would create a post, maybe tag Hot Planet Repair Team and copy that direct post in like LinkedIn or wherever it is. We focus on LinkedIn because it's very business and it's global. Not as many trolls. What happens is when we reach out, if you post that onto the LinkedIn feed, all of us can go in, like it, comment, and even like the comments within the thread. The algorithms that support and amplify this engagement allows it to go viral. So this team, just through the Telegram thread of the support, I did a post endorsing my friend who launched a vegetable tech innovation ETF that's listed in trading. And we spoke at the Wall Street Green Summit together. That post got 1,000 impressions from all over the world. I'm just saying, and then some of them are only a few thousand. But by making a consistent effort to post, there could be an amazing article that you just read. But instead of just posting it into a thread where there's 65 or 70 people that are reading it, then crafting a post on it, allowing that crafted post and then copying that link directly to that post into our thread allows us to go in there and engage and amplify that message. It's not very difficult, but it just takes a little bit of training. And then all of a sudden, the amplification just goes nuts for Planet Repair and everyone's individual efforts. We can all help be a little bit of support around it. And I started doing this years back, and it's just been incredible, the feedback and the massive connections of people that want to make a difference around the world that have come to my network. I just want to encourage everyone to do the same so we can help everybody with our respective messages and just help amplify the open tent of Hot Planet Repair Team as well.
We appreciate that.
Tyler, since I'm new here, I've done a little research. I've watched the YouTube videos and some other studying. The fundraising priorities, there's the 10 million for Hot Planet Repair Team. I noticed in some of the discussions there was a lack of donor databases to reach out to. That is a priority, I assume, and one of the top priorities right now.
Yeah.
Yes, there's a number of ways to skin this cat, right? And one is through partnerships with other organizations like Rocky Mountain Institute and other groups that have a global footprint and are very impactful and bring further credibility to the Hot Planet Repair Team. I was at a symposium last night in Vail where Amory Levins spoke, who's the founder and he's an emeritus trustee of RMI. And RMI is, if you're all familiar with it, they have an office in Basalt and Boulder. 100% leads buildings. They're really well aligned with what we're going to do here, what we're doing. Can we address where we are in that fundraising effort and who that team is and how I might be able to engage with them with my activity?
Absolutely. John?
Yes, be delighted to coordinate with you, Jonathan. I've got very clear ideas. We're just waiting to have our final approved, forever being improved collateral materials to go outbound. Maybe we can schedule an offline to a very focused conversation.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And we also have a series of emails already crafted to go out.
Yes.
So yeah, we have some other people that aren't on today's call that have been building a campaign for outreach. That's also been going on.
On that topic, real quickly, there's a number of ways that foundations exercise their financial influence. You're seeing a lot more, rather than just donations, a lot of PRIs are coming through now. I assume everybody's familiar with that term, program-related investments. That seems to be a way of the world now, and they're blending that into their investments. So they get not significant returns on those, or they're like low-interest loans. The difference between making a grant, when you make a grant, your financial return is really zero. Your social return is impactful. But if you make, just say it's a 4% return on that money, you get 104% return on it. They find that the philanthropic world right now is finding that very attractive, especially in these sort of shaky market times.
On that note, JT, is also what we're doing with the sale of the pre-production of our carbon credits. And since HPRT is nonprofit, that those could be considered tax-deductible donations as well as carbon credits. So they're killing two birds with one stone in that regard, because instead of just getting the street cred of reputational improvement, they're also getting a tax deduction on their books. That's something of interest that I think we'll be addressing with the Puro Earth group in the coming days and weeks.
One other question I have is the collateral materials. John, you're spearheading that effort.
Well, no, I'm spearheading the outreach, given everything else I'm doing. I'm great at putting together content, but I haven't inserted myself into that process as much. So it's going to be more, let's say, outward engagement for me.
So, Jonathan, I think you would look at the web team and myself and Tyler. We've been developing a lot of things. Allison and Jake involved in it.
Rich.
What we should do, maybe with your guidance, Jonathan, tell us what kind of collateral package your audiences would like to see, or this type of audience would like to see. And we have a lot of material. We just have to assemble it.
Right. And just one quick comment on that. There's always the one or the two pager, right, that you initiate. But I think it's most important in today's world to start with a 2-minute video. That's a video. People are much engaged in seeing video than they are in reading text. If we can apply that technique along with a 2-pager, and then you can get into the depths of things with a larger deck. But I think that initiates the conversation. And then you validate before you fascinate. That's been my technique. And in today's world, the video is much more compelling.
Do you have any samples of that, video you would suggest?
Yeah, I might be able to find one for you. Sure.
Go ahead, Tyler or me.
Can I make a suggestion about the videos, if you don't mind?
Go ahead. Again,
to bring up San Bernardino County, I was thinking maybe a super high-tech billboard someplace in the desert would serve as good visual branding. I think the area is fantastic. There are tons of solar companies that are doing extraordinary things there. For example, there's a company called Electrify America. I'm sure you guys know about that company. I read recently that the CEO of that company wants to power more or less like the entire nation's grid with solar in the Southern California area. It's just throwing that out there that I thought it would be really great if there was maybe a billboard or sculpture almost that's super sustainable and recognizable or something, because I think your logo is fantastic already. I thought something that's going to kind of reinvent the billboard and make it less of like a roadside eyesore and more of a transformative message. But I have a ton of other questions for you guys as well. My interests are just all over the place right now. I'd love to email you, Alan, about being a part of the technical team. And then I have another question about the carbon capture technology. And that question is, will that technology work better in heavily polluted areas, kind of similar to how solar works better in the desert versus in New England, for example?
The place that doesn't work well is in the North and South Poles because the atmosphere is just not as dense. But anywhere that there's humans living right now, it works anywhere you can place it. It's using photosynthesis. So it's growing plants in a very high density manner. They're done in a vertical hydroponics farm. It's not a greenhouse. It's basically a warehouse that can be placed anywhere. And we really don't care about temperature. We really don't care about anything. Altitude might be an issue. Anything above 5,000, 7,000 feet might be a problem. It really doesn't matter where it can go. It can go in the middle of anywhere.
Very cool. I'm actually in Aspen right now. I maybe have some contacts that I could forward to you guys and you could reach out to in terms of donations and such. My friend's the executive assistant to the owner of Aspen Square Management. I think he might be a good person
Wonderful.
to hear about HPRT.
Wonderful. Thank you, Marco.
Yeah, of course.
Excellent. Anything else, Tyler?
I think that's it. I think it was a great collective around the room meeting. If anyone has anything else to add, Fancy Nancy, go for it.
Hey guys, I just have a couple questions. I've been really connecting big time this week to a lot of people. Couple questions are, do you guys deal with microplastics in the ocean? Would that be something that we would be able to help with?
When it comes to microplastics in the ocean, that's a problem that probably we won't address, but our technologies, yeah, we could deal with it. But the problem is that how do you gather all the microplastic? How do you gather them up? Nobody has the capacity to pump the whole ocean through a filter. That's a problem.
Right. Okay. What about sugarcane pulp? There's a lot of it. And would you do anything with that?
That's an easy, yes. Instead of growing our biomass, we can just take that biomass.
What do you think when I say biogas from wasted food? They're turning it into biogas.
I think that's anaerobic digestion or anaerobic gasification. And yeah, it's a nice slow process and it works pretty well. Our process is faster and we capture carbon quicker.
Also, what about in Guatemala, the coastline is full of garbage. I'm just wondering, because it goes from the rivers into the Caribbean Sea, would you be looking at helping clean up the coastline as well for plastic?
So that would be over in our zero fill, Carbonator zero fill stuff on the commercial side that we're working on. And yeah, those are kind of projects we're looking at. For hot plant repair team and the biocarbon stuff we're working on, we could also look at sargassum weed, seaweed problem that's happening.
And in Ghana, there's a huge electrical dump out there where they're burning plastics to find wires, copper, or stuff like that. Is that something you would be able to help repair electrical dump fields?
Technically, yes. Financially and geopolitically, that might be difficult. The realities of the humans in the way.
There's a huge plastic pollution crisis and it's extremely persistent. It's not going anywhere. So any help to repair or fix is amazing. All of you on this panel today, thank you for everything you're doing. Very much needed.
Thank you, Nancy. Yeah, for Ghana, it depends on the local government franchise. You have to mind that.
I had a saying that I had to read to you guys. It's so funny. Okay, listen to this. This is a saying from a professor to his students. He says, don't throw away your plastics. Just season them very well, because I'm sure we'll be eating all of them very soon. So anyways, everybody have a great day. Thank you.
Thanks, Nancy. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys. See you.
See you, everybody.
Bye.